This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. The Tasmanian Aboriginal Centre is up in arms tonight, saying authorities are mishandling the suspected remains of an Aboriginal person. The skeletal items, described as very old, were found on a Tasmanian beach overnight. Michael Breen reports.
The remains were discovered here at Lauderdale last night by a man walking his dog along the beach. Around 7:45, he noticed what appeared to be human skeletal remains at the water's edge. Police haven't confirmed exactly what those remains are. Investigators have conducted preliminary examinations and in a statement this afternoon say the remains are very old, are Aboriginal in origin and are likely to have been exposed to the elements for decades. The Tasmanian Aboriginal Centre is concerned about how the situation has been handled. Representatives say the Aboriginal community should be involved in the examination process.
The Coroner's Act requires the police to contact an Aboriginal organisation when the remains may be Aboriginal. It's for the Aboriginal community to decide if these are Aboriginal remains, and then the coroner has no jurisdiction. They're just ignoring the law.
Police are calling in an anthropologist to conduct more forensic examinations and say an update will be provided tomorrow. And hopefully that will provide more answers as to where these remains came from, who they belong to and how that person died.
2 people have been rescued from a precarious situation on the Tasman Peninsula. Their 40-foot yacht ran aground at the base of Cape Rowell early this morning. A nearby cruise ship and the rescue helicopter responded to distress calls. A man and a woman in their 50s were winched to safety without injury. Former Tasmanian Minister Adam Brooks has been caught speeding. Mr Brooks confirmed he was inadvertently 15 kilometres over the speed limit when returning home to the northwest after attending a darts event in Hobart. The Premier today choosing to remain tight-lipped on the topic.
If the Police Minister wants to provide any further comment, he can as well. But I don't think you would seriously imagine a situation where there are different sets of rules for different people.
The penalty for the offence is 3 demerit points and a $159 fine. Amid growing pains in the tourism sector, the Liberals are promising $72 million worth of upgrades to key visitor roads if elected. While the move is being welcomed by industry, political opponents say the government could have started the projects earlier.
A $72 million commitment, Liberals say, will take Tasmania's tourism to the next level.
The largest ever single investment in our road network that specifically is targeted to roads that support our tourists.
If re-elected, the government promises to prioritise roads across the state.
It's no secret that many of the roads in these key tourism areas have struggled with the increase in demand, and we certainly are very encouraged that they'll be addressed. And also, not only that, it also gives entrepreneurs an opportunity to invest and enable those regions further in the future.
But Labor called the announcement a cruel joke, saying the Liberals have let roads deteriorate for 4 years. The opposition says the government has had this money in a war chest for a number of years, but chose not to spend it. The package includes upgrading the Tasman Highway down the east coast, widening roads on the Great Eastern Drive, extra visitor facilities on the Tarkine Drive, sealing Bruny Island main roads as well as Hastings Cave Road, and upgrading the Tasman Peninsula.
We're talking about substantial investments that the state government has never put in, as far as we're aware, in history. So certainly it's a long way. We always want more, but you know, from an industry standpoint, it's really great to see so much funds being put and money where the mouth is.
The government also promising to deliver tourist driving journeys across every region of the state. It'll see signs, names, routes and marketing developed for each one.
Driving in Tasmania for tourists is a virtue. Our roads are one of the reasons that you would come here. The things that you see, the experiences that you have.
Last year, more than 1.2 million people visited Tasmania, with the trend set to continue. Rita Risk, Southern Cross News.
The Electoral Commission is urging Glenorchy residents to have their say in local elections. The council was sacked last year as damning reports revealed dysfunction and mismanagement. Ahead of the close of polls tomorrow, last-minute ballot papers can be dropped off at the council office or the Electoral Commission's Moona headquarters. Organisers of Mona's Festival of Music and Art say the weekend in Launceston was a success, with a sea of onesies taking over the city. The festival, usually held in Hobart, has moved to the north, with organisers planning to move the entire festival to Launceston next year. A record crowd of more than 5,000 attended the block party yesterday, exceeding expectations. The mini mofo experience gave punters a taste of what's to come in the future. A collection of carriages, many more than a century old, is currently confined to the inside of a Tasmanian farm shed. Its owners today sharing stories of how the collection came to be, in the hope it might inspire a new permanent and public home.
History calling on the community to help in the search for a new home, some of it dating back as far as 1820. Its owners today in their element, bringing each piece to life.
The bakery cart was last used about 25 years ago with a grey horse named Blue, and it was used in Westbury to deliver bread. We have a World War I GS wagon, which means a general service wagon.
If the collection could speak, one can only imagine what it might say. What's visible here is only half of what the Tasmanian Horse-Drawn Vehicle Foundation has managed to collect over the past decade, and it's now worth a small fortune.
Between $500,000 and $800,000, possibly, for the total collection.
The last time it was displayed publicly was in 2015 at Entelli House. The Launceston City Council today confirming it will meet with the club to discuss the possibility of a new and permanent home.
Just to see the old carriages in their glory in the old estate, it was just fantastic to have them around. It just made the place feel like it was back in the olden days.
This carriage here is known as a pony phaeton. It was built in Melbourne in the late 1800s and would have been used by a family either in Victoria or Tasmania to get from A to B.
The things need to be out there and they need to be on display. People need to see them. That's what it's all about.
The group hopes it can relocate the collection by the end of the year. Jessie Gilmore, Southern Cross News.
Now a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market closed higher on Monday after strong gains for mining stocks offset weakness from energy players and a sluggish performance by the banks. The ASX 200 index has risen by 7 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 79.51 US cents and just under 88 Japanese yen.
The Hobart Hurricanes are preparing to make club history tonight against the Brisbane Heat, chasing a record 5 wins in a row with a top 4 spot on the ladder also on the line. Our reporter Jacqueline Robson is at Blunston Arena. And Jack, how's it all shaping up?
Well, Tom, crowds have started arriving here in what could be a very exciting night for Canes fans. As you mentioned, a win tonight would be a 5th in a row and a record for the club, and they've certainly got the form to pull it off. We saw Darcy Short notch up the highest ever score in Big Bash history against the Heat last Wednesday night, belting an incredible 122 off just 69 balls during that final ball thriller in Brisbane. So another big knock from him would set up the side quite nicely tonight. If he fails to fire, Alex Doolan, Matthew Wade and Ben McDermott have showed glimpses of form this tournament and are definitely capable of picking up the slack if need be. What will also be interesting tonight is the crowd numbers. We saw a strong showing of support when the Strikers played here earlier this month, while those numbers dropped off for the Sixers when they played in the following game. So fingers crossed the Canes faithful are out in full force tonight in what will be the last home game of the season, Tom.
Fingers crossed. Good stuff. Thank you for that, Jack. And after dropping their first 9 games of the WBBL season, the Monkey is finally off the back for the women's side. It all came down to the final over against the Renegades a short time ago, with the Canes just holding on to record their first win of the tournament. With revenge on the mind, Steph DeFara made her intentions clear nice and early. Hayley Matthews belting back-to-back boundaries, only to be sent packing on the very next ball.
This time driving in and out.
Overdue for runs, Indian import Veda Krishnamurthy got to work before Defara's day was brought to an end on 28. Georgia Redmayne eventually warmed up, with Krishnamurthy gifted a lifeline on 32.
Krishnamurthy hits it, it'll be a tough catch, getting it around, dropping it.
A risky attempt at a double saw her luck run out 8 runs later. Erin Fazakali lasting just 1 ball as Isabel Joyce hit the ground running with a couple of quick boundaries. But in the story of the tournament for the Canes, a middle order collapse saw the momentum slowed, with the side managing 9 for 120. Nicola Hancock providing the boost with the ball, claiming the early scalp of yesterday's player of the match, Sophie Molyneux. Former Cane Amy Satterthwaite steadying the ship before Brooke Hepburn fired up, claiming 2 quick scalps. The quick then taking her third to put her side in the box seat. Needing 18 off the final over, Satterthwaite provided some nervous moments, but the Canes held on and notching up their first victory of the tournament with the 4-run win. Cyclist Maci Stewart's hopes of Commonwealth Games selection have suffered an unfortunate setback, with the Tasmanian now requiring surgery on her eye socket following a crash in the Tour Down Under last week. It follows a horror accident she was involved in during 2012 before being hit by a car in training 2 years later. But her TIS racing coach is adamant she won't be off the bike for long this time around.
Good evening. Hobart, 20 degrees today. Launceston, Burnie and Wynyard top with 28 and Devonport recorded 25. And after an early shower cleared the southeast Maritime and the western cloud dissipated, we were left with a fine day with little cloud cover. Bridport, Low Head and Sheffield 27, Cressy 26, Flinders Island 24, Ouse 23 today. St Helens reached 22, Friendly Beaches 21, King Island, Strawn and Campania 20, and in the middle, Lyowenia top of 18 degrees. A low pressure system over the Tasman Sea has the cloud over the east coast of the nation. There's low stratiform cloud with a high pressure system over the Bight, and the cloud from the recent tropical cyclone evident over Western Australia and convective activity further north. In our region, scattered low cloud over the west and east coast, some mountain wave activity over the west decreased during the day. Tomorrow, the high continues to dominate our region. Surface troughs remain over the west and north and over far north Queensland as well. The winds southwest to southeasterly at 10 to 20 knots, tending variable during the morning with inshore afternoon sea breezes, swells to 3 metres in western and southern waters. Now for tomorrow, a mostly sunny day for Hobart, 21 degrees, Adventure Bay 19, sunny for Tarraleah and 23. Launceston sunny, a top of 25 degrees, partly cloudy for Devonport and Bridport, both on 21 degrees. For Burnie tomorrow, partly cloudy and 21, Strawn a top of 20, and Marrawar, which is often mispronounced as Marrawar, a partly cloudy day and 21 degrees. If you ever have that discussion, Tim at the Marrawar pub will sort it out for you. St Helens mostly sunny and 20, 19 the top for Swansea, and Whitemark sunny and 21 degrees. UV extreme all over the state. On Wednesday, fine with light winds and afternoon sea breezes. Fine to mostly sunny again on Thursday, northerly winds, and on Friday, mainly fine, locally hot over the northeast, an afternoon shower over the west coast. Rain easing from Perth, a sunny day ahead for Adelaide, Melbourne, Canberra and Brisbane. A windy day forecast for Sydney with 24 degrees, and the wet season does its thing over Darwin. Partly cloudy in Hobart, it's just 15 at the moment, 24 still in Launceston and 20 right now in Devonport. If this good weather holds up towards the weekend, Joe, I might head out for a surf near Marrawar.
You and Tim go and do that. Thank you very much for that. All right, that's all from the newsroom for now. Thanks so much for your company. We'll see you with updates a bit later. Bye-bye.